Now, doctors are yet to reach any meaningful agreement on a stalemate that has dragged on for 12 days, paralyzing medical services across all 47 counties in the country. Last evening, talks by union officials and the Ministry of Labour failed to issue any headway on the crisis that has seen very little progress. Let's now link up with our reporter from the Labour offices here in Nairobi, Timothy Otieno. Thank you very much for joining us. Good afternoon. Do we have any update on that? Any white smoke? Well, we seem to have a problem with his sound. Timothy Otieno is joining us from the Labour services. Let's just speak to him. Timothy, can you hear me? Thank you for joining us. Just let us in on how the negotiations are ongoing.
Well, Akisa, the negotiations are still ongoing. They began about an hour ago at 12 midday between the Ministry of Labour, that is acting as the arbitrator in this particular instance, as well as the Doctors' Union, the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, as well as other stakeholders, including the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of National Treasury, as well as other stakeholders that are trying to come up with a solution in this deadlock, like you have mentioned, that is now in its 12th day. So the big question is going to be, will the doctors' strike extend into its second week, or will we finally find a resolution to this problem that has seen paralysis of medical services across the country and suffering of many Kenyans who actually need these services? But of course, it has been an interesting week, and the doctors' talks have collapsed on several occasions, the latest one being yesterday, where of course the Ministry of Labour, led by the Cabinet Secretary Phyllis Kandiye, of course engaged the union officials for well over 4 hours yesterday afternoon. But finally, when they came out at about 5:36 p.m., the CS Phyllis Kandiye did indeed say that they were making progress and there was some bit of headway into the talks, but nothing substantive yet had been reached. And of course, she had said that possibly, hopefully, today they could iron out perhaps the final details and the nitty-gritty that they need to finally iron out so that they can come up with a deal. But remember, the doctors had initially rejected an offer that was given to them by the government of a 50,000%, or rather 50,000 shilling increment to their salaries that would have seen the lowest paid doctor earn about 176,000 shillings. The doctors remain adamant that they are sticking to the collective bargaining agreement, or what they call as the collective bargaining agreement of 2013, that should have given them a 300% pay hike. The government, as well as the Council of Governors, led by the governor in charge of the health docket, Kisumu Governor Jack Ranguma, have insisted that that was not actually any CBA. It was just an agreement, but that for there to be a CBA, it has to be registered in court. And for it to be registered in court, it has to involve other stakeholders like the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. And that deal that was signed in 2013 was just between the Doctors' Union and the Ministry of Health. So whether this controversial document will, of course, make any meaningful headway. Of course, yesterday we found out that the government did admit that the 2013 collective bargaining was actually a legal document, and perhaps that is going to be used by the Doctors' Union this afternoon to try and get that 300% pay increase that they have been fighting for now in its 12th day, even as Kenyans continue to wait for medical services from the doctors, Akisa.
All right, Timothy, thank you very much. Timothy Otieno there joining us from where the Labour offices are, and as he says, they are acting as the arbitrators, and there is expectation that probably doctors and the government and the county governments will be able to strike a deal for them to go back to work, as the strike has continued, and this is the 12th day. Now,